Okay. So according to, I'll take those down real quick. Right,
Let's see how YouTube fucks me today.
according to the YouTube, we are currently live. How is everybody doing in the chat? Yeah, I'll pull that up later. Alright, so in the chat we got Murder's Kitten. He's first. Well done, lad. Well done. Dragonus, you're number 2. Well done. Calcio, welcome. Ursosium, welcome. And Zach, welcome. What's up, guys? Alright, so our guest is not going to be able to stay on for the entire time. Probably should have mentioned that before Lotus tried to piss me off. He is only going to be able to stay on for another hour. It's late where he is, and he's got other things he's got to do.
That is correct. I am terribly sorry. But yeah, I'm glad to be here. How's everybody doing?
All right, Alex. Welcome, Alex. Draven, welcome.
Yes.
Alrighty. Sure. First things first, because our guest is not going to be able to stay on the entire time, we're going to start with the topic he wanted to discuss, which is the recent snatching of fan animators. Let me pull up. Latest one being Sodaz. I did a video on this. I'm sure most people have heard about this at this point. The guest is Kill Team Hungary, otherwise known as... Wait, do you still want us to go by your first name, or have you changed your mind about that?
No, it's fine. It's Greg. So hi everyone. My name is Greg. I'm from Hungary, a well, let's just say country in the middle of Europe. If you're not sure what it is, just Google Hungary. It's not Hungary. It's spelled Hungary, like Gary. So everybody makes fun of us saying that. Oh, you guys must be hungry all the time. That's why you called hungry.
Well, to be fair, like that's the first mistake everybody makes here in the U.S. when they hear about Hungary. If you ever hear about it, there are people who are like 40 plus years old who have no idea Hungary is a place.
Nah, it is actually a place. So yeah. And I do mostly Kill Team, but I'm a big fan of 40k as well. And yeah, that's who I be.
Aye. And he's been a guest on before, so I highly recommend that previous episode of the podcast. He was a great guest then. He'll be a great guest now, and he's right now on better terms with me than Ludus is. All right. So that being said, I think we're ready to jump into the first topic. I've already got my video on it, so I'm actually curious to hear your guys' thoughts more on this, since mine's already up there in a full video. Obviously I'm gonna chip in, but I'm more curious what you guys have to say about it. So GW snatching up the fan animators, and the most recent one being Sodaz.
For me,
yeah, please go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, I think it has a lot of good potential, but like all things GW, they're gonna fuck it up somewhere along the way.
So yeah, I was doing a fairly extensive video because I'm a practicing father of a 3-month-old, and I get to live between midnight and somewhere around 4 a.m. So I was recording a video, the audio for a video just about this topic. I'm a little late to the party as always because I have other high priority stuff to do. But I was listening to, I think Asmo was the first one I got to listen to regarding this. And then Auspex Tactics also did a more extensive one, listing every little detail about this topic. Who was snatched, as Asmo put it.
That's the only way I can describe it at this point, because I would like to phrase it as like, oh, they're getting picked up, oh, they're being But the thing is, I can't shake the feeling it's
No,
not.
I'm
that.
just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. They were kind of bullied into cooperation.
That's what I think.
and
As you
and
pointed
yeah,
out,
it's-
wasn't a start. You pointed out yourself. His peak was making 20K a month USD.
a minimum of
Minimum.
20K because he had about 10,400.
I can't think of a
30
single industry that pays people that well monthly. Even
Yeah,
if they pay
and
them
that-
week to week. Like working for the Navy, I was making $20 at my peak an hour. No way in hell was I at the end of the month walking away with 20K. I was walking away with like 2.5K at the end of every month if I did overtime.
Yeah, and that's it. And that's it because like that was just a $2 pledge. So calculating with $2 per patron, that was about 21K, 20.8. But I'm more than sure that there were like $10 to $15 pledges as well. So dude was well above 20K per month, which is an absolutely insane number. To me, when I think of it, my wife and I would have to work for straight 8 months to get that monthly income what Siyama got. So yeah, and I think this is a pretty troubling trend because first it was and I'm gonna come back to Richard Boylan because he's a pretty interesting case when I stopped my investigation on it. That Richard Boylan is the only one who he was the creator of the Hell's Reach animation, the first, I would say the biggest at the time and the most quality at the time. His channel is still up. His videos are still up. He's still getting clicks. The only thing he did not do ever is get funding from the fans. So he oh my fucking god, rigorously English.
It's a great language, I know.
Yeah, rigorously objected to any kind of super chats or donations that he got when he was streaming and such because he said that he doesn't want to make money out of it, probably for obvious reasons. And if as far as I know, Richard is the head of the Warhammer animations team now at GW, because he was a leading games designer at EA back in the day, and he was on board with the.
That's always good to hear, right? Somebody from
Yeah.
EA is heading this. A
He was
company
on
so well loved in the gaming industry, as we all know.
I mean,
Fuck
I don't have any
EA.
problem. Yeah, I mean, I second that. But
I
he
third
was
that.
on the whatchamacallit game that had the Andromeda.
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect. Yes.
Well, that explains why he's not there anymore.
The ill-fated Mass Effect Andromeda. I think he was heading the games design, or some part of the games design. So I don't know if he's having some kind of privilege now that his YouTube channel is being left alone or not. Because if we look at any other creator,
Well, it could be a case of that he was already getting scouted for the position, or he already applied for it, and so doing those animations.
and he's not making money off of it because he was
That's a
neither
big one.
monetized, neither had Patreon. The only time he asked for money was his Guardsman live action short, and that was the only time that he asked for money. Anything else, he just rigorously said, okay, do not donate money. If you donate money, I'm gonna spend it on beer, and that's what.
At least that's honest.
Which is honest, yeah. So his channel is up, thank God, because I think WarhammerCommunity.com is an obscure piece of garbage, and yeah, we saw that everybody else had a Patreon, and Sodas had about 400 patrons when he was picked up, but
I'm assuming the minimum tier for him was 100, right?
what?
Sorry, $1. 400 people. I'm assuming
$2.
Okay, so his minimum tier was $2 as well.
Yes.
So 400 patrons, assuming that, so it'd be $800 a month.
I would say
for
let's say 1,000 because I think he had $1,000. I would say with a fairly high confidence, which is kind of okay. It's like $1,000 a month is the average salary I would work for in this country where I live. So I would do that for a living, making animations, especially with a Source engine. Because the funny thing is that Sodas was working with a Source engine, which is kind of outdated. It's like 2000 what 17.
Yeah,
And
well, the Source engine is great. Using Source Filmmaker is great for
yeah,
for training new animators. I think
Yep.
that and Blender, they're the best starting points. And
Yep.
and though I know Blender, the developers behind Blender are trying to make it a catch-all, like they want it to be the like unofficial regularly studio used animation software, and they've been making great grounds for that. But in the case of Source Filmmaker, it's more or less it's just a free animation tool made by Valve. And
Yes.
I do like what Simon does. I keep getting names all fucked around in my head. Sodaz. I like what Sodaz has to do with the Source Filmmaker animations, but that was the main reason I didn't think he was going to get picked up. Is he's using an open source free tool that everybody has access to animate his stuff. In the case of Astartes, I believe he was using Maya like I'm trained in. At least it looked like it was animated with Maya or in a similar Autodesk feature, possibly 3ds Max. I doubt it. 3ds Max isn't that great in animation. It's more for designing things as opposed to animating things. So yeah, I was actually genuinely thinking to myself that at no point would Sodas get picked up, because his stuff was looked and matched the style of Source Filmmaker, which typically, when I see that as an animator, my first thought is beginner. Someone's learning how to use it.
I mean, it looks as if this is something for beginners because you cannot get that much out of it as we saw.
Correct. That's the limitation of it.
Regardless of what Sodaz did, because he was fucking awesome, because he did Krieg, he did Space Marines, and these things look even good at that level of quality.
Hello, Emperor. Welcome to the podcast. Sorry, just welcoming new people.
Sure. And shout out to Nathan X2000 for coming to my streams as well and
Nathan
supporting
is
the
good
stream.
boy. Nathan is good boy. I love Nathan.
Yeah. So I think at this point, and especially with Sodas, because we saw the Last Church animation, Tiberius Portuguesa was the guy that did I would say the graphic novel adaptation of The Last Church, which was fucking awesome. He's also gone. The Codex guys are also gone. The what is it called? That funny looking Tau. Exodites. The Exodite.
Yes, the Exodite.
Yeah. Those. I mean, I saw that once.
That's the thing. That's what fucked me up most about in the case of like Exodite and fuck the other one. They didn't even have products out yet, and they got picked up.
So at this point, I would say with
they got sniped out of the sky.
Confidence that at this time when GW is trying to see, I mean, I don't know what kind of sub numbers did they have, so that's just hit about 100k subs when he disappeared, quote unquote disappeared. I mean, at least the 40k stuff, because he's doing now Titanfall and all sorts of other stuff, which is okay, kind of nice, but it's not 40k. It's not my cup of tea. But I think that those channels, it's like, okay, GW is looking at it, Big Buck is behind it, and let's just pick these guys up using our IP as a argument, saying that, okay, we like you, as Auspex Tactics said, that first they approach, they compliment you, they commend you about bringing new fans into the lore and everything, and then they start playing good cop, bad cop, saying that, okay, but we can CND you or drag your ass to court and such, so how about you take the red pill and come come and join us or die. And as far as I know, I mean, as far as the rumors go, they're going to use their clunky ass website, warhammercommunity.com, and they're going to require you to have a registered account there, and then they're going to put everything behind a paywall. So every new project is going to go behind a paywall.
This is
And-
that for me is like, I still can't get over this stupidity. I really can't, because I kind of get like what the business heads of GW are thinking with these moves.
Money,
like,
money.
Well,
now.
yeah, they're like, hey, people really love these animations, and they're under our IP. We can use that to manipulate and threaten or passive aggressively hint at legal action, or give them the
which
ultimatum
never
of working
occurred
for
to
us.
them in the past, like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, it took
right?
them
They
that
just
long. It took
started
them that
doing this now.
long. It took them that long to figure out, hey, maybe this is a good idea. And the thing is, I think they're looking at these animations in a tunnel vision, and whoever's in charge of marketing at GW is a fucking moron. Okay, he's a straight up fucking moron. Listen, I have not gone to school for marketing, and in my basic research to set up my own Grimdark and my own business, I have found that trying to nuke people's content doesn't work, and clearly they know that too. But the thing is, they're like, we still want to nuke it though, instead of looking at the positive angle, which is, this is free advertisement. Not only is it free advertisement, it's advertisement that's superior to anything you've ever made ever.
Yes, because the last time G-Dubs put out an animation, that was, I think, the...
Thank you, Nathan, for the super chat, man. Thank you. Little question: you reckon they going after Alpha Busa? Well, the thing is, I don't want to jinx it. I said publicly on a stream one time, I don't think they're gonna grab Sodaz, and I was wrong. I don't want to jinx it, so I'll say I hope not.
I hope Alpha Music gets picked up and he will destroy GW from the inside.
That could work.
So yeah, and
I'm just glad there's someone else other than me who fucking hates TTS.
So
Wait, you hate TTS?
Yes, I do. I have said this very
And
often.
don't get me wrong, I like, there's definitely a cutoff point where I went from liking it to like, I'm not as interested. Like, I had that point with TTS, but I don't hate it. Like, damn.
It's because I got to the point where all I can do is pick apart all the stupid shit, and I can't really enjoy it anymore. So it's just, yeah, it's just bad to me now.
have you tried taking a break from it?
Yeah, I took about a 2-year break from it and tried going back. I'm like, nah, this is still bad.
Hey, Gavin Isaacs, welcome, man. Hello, how's everyone doing? We're doing pretty good. We're just chatting about GW snatching people like the savage sons of bitches that they are.
Although,
Also, thank you, Merskin,
yeah.
for the super chat, and thank you. Asmagon is embracing his inner Estonian.
to jump backwards a little bit.
Don't know what that means. Thank you, Nathan, for the super chat, man. Thank you.
Why? Because I don't like TTS? That's not the worst take I've ever had.
He had a worse take before we started the stream, so that was his warm up, you know.
But so for those of you who don't know the story about this, the thing that I catch the most shit about is that I actually think that Mass Effect 3 is the best in the series, in the original trilogy. And the thing
I don't even
always
think that's that bad of a take, personally, but
everyone's like, but the ending. Yeah, here's the funny story about the ending. Did you know that originally Mass Effect 3 had a different ending?
that wouldn't surprise me.
They weren't going to have like 3 branches of color. It was essentially they were going to kill Shepard at the very end of it.
But the thing is, you can't judge something based on what it is not. You have to judge on what it is.
Well, here's what happened though.
Whatever happened, it doesn't change what we got.
But here's the important part. The BioWare writers took it to EA. EA wiped their ass with it, essentially fired the writing team, and wrote their own ending, which was the colossal shitstorm that we got. So EA can fucking burn to the ground for all I care. That's where my hatred of EA comes from.
Really?
Amen.
That's where it comes from?
Oh no, other than the fact that they're a garbage company and the only thing they can apparently do right is Sims and fucking sports games. they have to trash everything else and burn everything else to the ground. I hope they get fucking nuked by another company.
Yeah, I wish.
And
The only other people who could
Visceral
nuke
hatred.
the only people who could nuke them is fucking Activision, and they're just as bad. So
no, I hope Microsoft.
it's like one devil, another devil.
I hope Microsoft buys out EA and fucking liquidates them, because that would be the funniest goddamn thing to me.
That would be fun. I hope one day that we either see EA get completely like all the people at the head of EA completely get shafted out, and we finally get people who actually give a damn about something more than money in there, but not likely to happen.
Well,
I mean,
the weird EA is the biggest paradox, because what they do right. So again, Sims and sports games, they actually do get really done. They do it really well.
Well, not really.
Everything else is what they fuck up. Well, some sports games.
Well, no, if you look at like the latest Madden or any of the latest sports games and compare them to previous iterations in their series, they fucking suck. Like, it's absolute garbage in comparison to their own shit.
I mean, to be fair, most of my
Isaacs, man. Thank you for the super chat. Send this towards the Grimdark Asmo. I'm gonna go in. I can't talk. I'm gonna go to sleep. I had 6 energy. Jesus, go to bed, man. And thank you for the for the continuous support of the Grimdark. It's very much appreciated, man. And yeah, get some rest. Get some rest, brother.
Yeah, night, man.
Hey, Gavin Isaacs.
But yeah, and my argument was more towards The Sims. Like I said, The Sims, they've actually done really well. That has lasted for fucking ever, and it's probably going to last forever, unfortunately. But with some sports games, they do really well. But here, past 5-10 years, all it really has been is copy paste.
Nathan, also thank you again, Nathan, for the super generous super chat. Thank you. He's reminding us that Greg is on a timer, which thank you. Yeah. So suffice to say, EA is garbage. So I guess to summarize the whole our takes on the snatching of fan animators, GW is just stupid. They're making incredibly stupid marketing decision. They are removing the biggest, most effective, useful advertisement for them off of YouTube and putting it behind a paywall on their own website eventually.
Yep.
Which is the dumbest thing. Yeah. The best way I could describe it is it's greed and hubris clouding any kind of business sense. Because this is not a bit to the GW shills and simps, the whales essentially, who are gonna be like, oh well, you'll never have a successful business if you don't make moves. This isn't a smart business move though. From a business perspective, what they're doing is not fueled by they're not making this decision based on, oh, is this the smartest thing for my business. They're making this decision based on, this isn't stuff made by us and we don't own it, so we can't profit off of it. Yeah, that's it. I mean, they're not seeing the bigger picture.
They didn't make it. They didn't even make it. The last shit that they made was the 9th edition trailer, which
wasn't anywhere near as good. It was. Don't get me wrong. I liked it.
It was like 2013's League of Legends cinematic trailer quality.
Yeah. I liked it, but it wasn't the fact that Astartes completely one-man project nukes something they probably had a team working on.
That is correct, and it's like when we compare Richard's
that's
work,
embarrassing.
The Hell's Reach animation to the Angels of Death. I mean, when Richard was quote unquote crowdfunded, but which he wasn't. Basically, the only thing he got, I think, is just after clicks or something.
I enjoy the Hell's Reach stuff. One nuclear take I have though. I always forgave the poor, in my opinion, poor animations and graphics we saw in that, because it was, and it was the normal excuse of, oh well, this is fan made.
It was made with a fucking Xbox Kinect camera. So,
yeah, it was perfectly forgivable. But recently, when we saw the trailer for the new animations coming out, we saw that one that I heard he's in charge of. The one, it's no better.
Garbage.
It's no better.
It's
and when I pointed it out,
level.
when I pointed that out, that it's no improvement from what he was doing before, or virtually no improvement. It's still doing that weird visual thing too, which bothers me. But that aside, the animations, the graphics of what we were seeing, I pointed out how I thought that looked bad. Someone in the comment section of the video I talked about that defended it and said, "Oh, well, you gotta understand, it's fan made." Talking about the official, supposedly Warhammer paid for animation, the official professional one.
Yeah,
They were using the same defense, and I had to point out to that person, I'm like, no, it's not. It was when it was just him on YouTube doing it, and that's why you could forgive it easily.
Yes,
he's now
exactly
on a payroll for a professional company. I am judging this as a professional product. No, it's not fan made anymore. It's not. Nope. Just because he was a fan, he's not now. You can't use the same defense. He has to have a team behind him. Unless GW are literally just saying, "Fuck it, you're on your own." But it doesn't look that much better than it did when he was on his own.
Yeah, exactly, and that is why I always bring up this argument that, on the one side, you're like quote unquote crowdfunded, or not even crowdfunded, on your own, making an episode like in 8 or 9 months' time, like in Astartes. Or such and such, and people eat that shit up. And you got picked up, you get a not billion, but multi-million English pound corporation behind your back with resources, animators, and after like 3 trailers and 2 years of nothing, we get the animation we saw, which is just about 1 or 2 steps maybe ahead of the quality you were producing when you were basically a nobody. So if this is the trend that will happen to, I wonder what they will do with Siyama Pedersen. I mean, we are expecting a Custodes animation from the dude.
I imagine the worst Siyama Pedersen's work is still probably better than anything anyone else is going to come up with.
I'm 100% sure. But I mean, they are picking up so many people. When are we going to see the products? I mean, thank God there are also independent creators left. I mean, I'm in contact, almost a weekly contact with Gabriel M. Christiane, the gentleman from the Czech Republic who did the Faith animation and is now doing a Dark Angels versus Necron with using Blender. He's also still independent. I was talking to him. And I was like, dude, you're next. And he was like, oh, no, I really don't want to work with GW.
Yeah, I actually had the pleasure to speak with him, too. In the comments of his own animations, and I did a reaction video to it. And in the reaction, I was trying to be as respectful as I could. Being a trained animator and graphics designer and 3D artist myself, typically... One of my biggest flaws when I watch anything 3D related, especially if it's fan made, is I automatically go into that professional mode. You know,
mode.
Yeah, I see what I see what everyone else sees. They see a cool animation that was made by somebody. They might be a little janky in there, but more or less they like everything that's on display. Me, I understand how it's all put together. I understand the modeling process, the texturing process, the rigging process. I understand I understand the animation process to a T. So when I'm watching an animation, I don't see cool little effects. I see, okay, this is how this skeletal rig is put together, and oh, this is how this model is put together. This is how many different pieces of this model are separate from one another. And so when in that reaction I did, I broke down where I thought he needed to improve and work on, which was mostly, I recommended him... That was
his first video.
Yeah. I know. I was being as forgiving as I could, but I got a couple of people in the comments who were like, don't you think you're being a little harsh? It's like, well, no, I'm giving constructive criticism. You don't improve if no one says anything. And, coming from where I'm coming from, I'd hope my advice would... He doesn't need to heed it, but I'd hope he at least listen to it.
He's a swell guy, and he's
he is
learning in his free time, and he's improving, as I see. So,
definitely.
So kudos to him. But he said that, I'm not producing that kind of a quality content, so he's not really. This was about 2 months ago, or maybe 3 months ago, when I did an interview with him. There's an hour-long video up on my channel with me talking.
Which is linked in the description.
and it's like, oh no, don't. I mean, I'm not worried because of the quality and, and such. I'm just like, Soda's just got picked up, man, with the source filmmaker. I mean, you're improving day by day, and and your next video is going to be better than the last one. The second next video is going to be better than this one. So every step you improve, you're gonna get nuked as well. It's just a matter of time, because that video, I mean, like Astartes got about what, 2+ million views per video, I think. His Faith animation is over 1 million views. I think generously over 1 million views. Uh, his videos are getting better. He's gonna end up the same as Sodas, and I'm afraid that either he will disappear and I will not be able to talk to him again. Like Sodas wouldn't give me an interview because I asked him, and Sodas told me that, well, I don't have a microphone, so he will not give me an interview. And I told that,
Well, even
I mean,
then, you can do like an
okay,
interview over text. You
sure,
can
but at
hook
that
up a
time I am
Discord
more
and
than
type
sure.
responses, and then you can do a
At,
video with your the responses.
at that time, I was more than sure that GW's already got to him, and he was under CND and or some kind of negotiations, and they were like squeezing his balls. Like, if you say something to anyone, we're gonna just like drop you or something. Um, I always try to. I wrote Siyama as well. Couple of times I'm acting like some kind of a deranged fan who is like spamming him. So I think I'm gonna stop, because one time he
Well,
commented on my channel.
to bust Ludus's balls a little bit, every time we have Arch on, for one of these podcasts, Ludus constantly shows his videos for him.
I try not to.
Like the number of times Arch has been like, "Yeah, check out this video I did," but in comparison to how many times Ludus goes, "Hey, Arch, this video that you did this while ago, this specific title of this video that you did, or you said it best in this video."
I really try not to do that.
I don't know. I gotta bust your balls a little bit about that, though. That's funny.
So in conclusion, I don't want to drag this out. Just to
Well, no, it's fine. Like, break down your thoughts fully.
That I'm scared. I'm scared because there are still lots of very good. There's another source filmmaker guy called Absolutely Nothing. I think that's the channel, who did the Krieg animation as well, the charging Krieg guardsman versus it's basically the same model as what Sodas has used. That
Yeah, they're probably somewhere on Steam Workshop.
Yep, exactly. And there's also Mark Lewis Spark, who is still kind of doing Warhammer sometimes.
Yeah,
I see
that's
his
the thing.
live streams.
And he's still working on stuff in live streams. The thing is, I think he dropped Death of Hope though. Like, so
Yes,
I heard from one person that he's only doing one more episode than calling it, but I've looked
God, I hope he does.
I've looked into it, but I haven't heard anything like that. Like, I don't see any video. Well, maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see any video of him specifically stating that that's his plan. If you just look at his channel, it's just a list of live streams of him doing other artwork, which is great.
That is true.
No, I don't see any.
So he's still doing it, which is awesome, and I would beg on my knees for him to just finish it, because I want to see. I really want to see what he was doing. So there's Gabriel. There are a couple of other. There's the dude who did the Siege of Terra or Siege of the Imperium. It's a very unique art style, kind of 2D art style. What I don't know the name. Oh, fuck it! I'll just look it up. So here's I got a list, because here's my script. So yeah, so Gabriel is with the Faith, Absolutely Nothing with the Death Code of Keep. I think Asteria is the one who did the Siege of the Imperium animation. That's also very good. These guys are all backed by Legio Sinfonica, who does extremely good music. I also use his music for my videos with his consent, of course. And there's also the Vrax, and there's someone called Skylord. Who I think the Commissar Gurk, or something. So there are also small channels with about small channels, quote unquote, with 10 something thousand subs,
Well,
who are
for
still
compared to
doing.
us, they're probably bigger.
Yes, of
Yes.
course, of course, of course.
We're tiny boys.
Relatively, yeah, we're just like,
Tiny in stature, massive in ego.
yeah.
I hate you
Yeah, it's
all.
like as some of the my commenters have pointed out, I'm piggybacking of other people's work, which
Yeah, you
basically is
just got to ignore
90%
those.
of YouTube.
Just ignore those idiots.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so yeah, we still got those, but it's just a matter of time. And as some of like, for example, your like the viewers now in the chat point out that Corpo is just gonna come and see the money and say that, okay, here's our IP, you can get fucked, because either you join us or just we're gonna CND you, or maybe just delete your channel right off the bat, or like you have to severely alter your content, like Arch Warhammer, formerly Arch Warhammer, now just Arch, had to do because yeah, somebody got his eyes on him, and it's like, okay, let's do something with this dude. So most of the views came, especially in the case of Astartes, most of the views were like not even Warhammer fan people. And these people will not pay to see further stuff from these people, because they're not going to register a Warhammer community account and pay when stuff was on YouTube, because they might not be as invested like us, because I don't know if I'm going to pay for it. I seriously don't know. Saturdays is going to be the Warhammer Live stream event where they're going to premiere or sneak peek some of the stuff. I'm wondering what kind of quality are we going to see. I'm definitely going to report on it. But as you said, I think GW is making, in the hopes of getting a huge amount of profit and huge amount of traffic onto their shitty website, they're going to just make people disappear, which is basically what's happening right now. Because
And well, they are exactly doing that right now. One thing that's indisputable is the fact that they're making these content creators disappear on YouTube. They're nuking their channel content here. Like Sodaz is now just doing, he's still allowed to make content, obviously, but what they're nuking is they're nuking
Warhammer related, yes.
Yeah, but everything Warhammer related, especially like in Sodaz's case, he's one of the lucky ones because not all of his animations have universally been Warhammer. That's his best ones by far, in my opinion, have been Warhammer related. But
Yes.
he's you know, like, for example, the same day I kind of sensed he uploaded it in the same day to kind of like go like, oh, now we're moving on, kind of thing. After he announced that GW was picking him up and he had to get rid of all his former content on his channel, he, like, maybe an hour after I uploaded my video, which was I recorded like 30 minutes after he uploaded his, announcing he was leaving.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, Asmo beat me to it.
I'm pretty speedy about it. The moment I hear about something, and the thing is, I got lucky. Like, someone mentioned it on another.
Good.
Yeah. The point is, yeah, it's GW, or if this is all legitimate and there isn't this threat under the table of legal action of some kind to these people, I'll be surprised, for one. But if there is, I have to ask the question: why is it that all of a sudden all these animators are agreeing to this? Like, they're all just like, yeah, I'm totally for being.
And it's the same structured farewell email.
Exactly, it's a PR. Exactly this right here. I am excited to, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same or roughly the exact same as everybody else's.
Yep.
Like, everyone's, it's the structure the exact same. They are sent this and then they just upload it. It's depressing.
It is, and to be perfectly fair, you can't really argue about it. I mean, you can't really argue against it, because at the end of the day, no matter how you twist it or fold it, it's their IP. I mean, they once at one time they even wanted to copyright the silhouette of a Space Marine, if I'm not mistaken.
I know they
And
tried to copyright the term pauldron, which is in the English
Yes.
dictionary.
yes, so it's like
Yeah.
you can just like wag your finger or raise your fist and shout about it, but at the end of the day, it's like they're just gonna fuck you. It's R.I.P. So what you gonna do about it? The only thing we can do about it is not enable them, which means do not give money. And then we can just like take them down with us, and they will not be able to exploit these creators. And I mean, exploit meaning exploit their creativity, because GW didn't give a fuck about animation within their
And
own.
yeah,
They didn't do anything which I would say it was like jaw-dropping quality, like for example Astartes. I just cannot get enough of Astartes.
I mean, I don't think anyone
And
can.
because like it's like god tier stuff, and it's like, well, if it's this the price I have to pay to never see them again, and at the same time not give GW their money for the work they haven't done, then I'm just gonna say that okay, fuck it, I'm not gonna pay.
I do want to point this out before I do a little fancy segue. You were one of the you were more positively hopeful in our last and the last time you were a guest on. You were a little bit more positively hopeful for the way things were going. Do you still feel the same way? Do you feel like
I mean, which segment of the hobby?
so yeah,
Because,
now you need to specify.
well, it's like you cannot stay positive forever despite the fact of what kind of changes are going on, because then you're just ignorant. You need to take into consideration what is going on in the world, and once it's you see that, oh, there's just a little sunshine coming through the clouds, and then the next day all fucking hell breaks loose and like 20-pound ice is falling on your head. You cannot stay positive at that. Otherwise some ice is gonna hit you and just like you're gonna get your head bashed in. I don't know. Now I'm like, I mean, look, a lot of things happened in the past 1 year. Basically, here in Budapest, in the capital of Hungary, where I live, hobby life just basically died. Kill Team died. There's nobody actively playing anymore. I was the single one who kept the Budapest meta alive. I was the tournament organizer. I was the Facebook admin. I did stuff on YouTube as well. For the English-speaking public, sometimes for the Hungarian-speaking public as well. I organized everything here. And now they don't let me into the clubs because I am not vaccinated. I am not allowed to enter facilities to host my tournaments with my name. I mean, my brand, Kill Team Hungary, and the club's name, which is there because I don't have a vaccination ID because I'm healthy. I just had a blood test last week. I never met the COVID. So I'm COVID free. I always was. I'm perfectly healthy, and
Well, I got COVID and I recovered from it.
good for you. So now you have some kind of
that's the
immunity.
thing. People around where I live are still demanding, people who got it and recovered get the fucking vaccination, which doesn't make any sense. I'm already vaccinated. I already have the antibodies. I fought the thing off. Why do I have to get an injection that's going to put me on my ass for 2 days?
So
Or longer.
my wife actually caught COVID. So statistically, since I have COPD, I should be dead. But no, I didn't even catch it. And like this might surprise you, but we sleep in the same bed, and so there's close contact. And
You pervert.
I know, how dare I?
It's almost like you're married. It's weird.
I know. It's almost like we've been together 12 years. By the way, for anyone who wants to have a little laugh, me and my wife have been together more than half of Asmogon's age. So yes, I love that. I love that Greg laughed at that.
I'm still more
But,
mature than both of you put together. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, okay. I would rather be immature and have fun than be mature and have a colossal stick up
Oh,
my
I'm
ass.
Yeah, I would definitely describe myself as having a stick up man. Well, maturity is all
No.
is all a facade anyway.
Oh no! See, you misunderstood. I wouldn't call you mature either. I'm just saying I would rather be immature and have fun than be mature and have a colossal stick up my ass. I wasn't calling you mature. You're still completely immature too.
Oh,
just
absolutely.
less immature than
It's
me.
great. It's great.
But
So,
no.
yeah.
So statistically, I should fucking be in the ground. But right now,
Papa
the
Nurgle has blessed you, man. So
right now the
He
funny
is a
thing-
chaos
actually,
worshiper.
That is true, and actually, very ironically, my favorite Trader Legion is 1,000 Suns, but my favorite Chaos God is Nurgle. But interestingly enough, the worst thing to happen to me in the past 2 weeks is I was cleaning the flat top at work and branded the oh, what is it? I said this last night. And it was funny. I branded the Triforce of Power onto my middle finger.
What?
I have burned my finger to the point where it's healing in the form of a perfect triangle or near perfect triangle.
Hey, that's a great conversation to have over booze. Sorry, I just get that.
Well, no, so I cleaned the flat top with steel wool, and my hand just rolled over the wool, and I fucked up my middle finger, my left index finger's knuckles.
Okay.
yeah,
Alright, since we're gonna be short on time here,
yeah, I'm done. So yeah, closing thoughts. G-Dubs can fuck itself, and I'm not as optimistic as I was before.
yeah, that's what I expected. But yeah, that's our takes on the GW continuing to snatch animators.
Any
Which,
questions?
if you're angry at GW by chance, and you're getting disillusioned with Warhammer 40k, but still
Oh my
love
God,
tabletop.
What a segue!
I was gonna say, real
I
quick, since it's gonna
am currently
lead-
developing and working on my own tabletop war game and grimdark sci-fi universe known as Warglaive Gothic. I have been working on this for over a year in terms of writing. Still in the infancy of writing the tabletop rules, and as you guys, if you check out the channel and have seen my live streams lately, I am still prototyping 3D models for 3D printing, which once I get all of the... I kind of want to marvel at myself here. I'm in charge of my own marketing. I'm in charge of designing my own... the equivalent of Codex supplements. I've actually been designing cover art for them. This, for example, is going to be my codexes in air quotes are actually going to be called archives. Even though codex is not copyrightable, it's in the dictionary. It's just a term, just in case. I'm using the term archive since it also works with the lore. So this is I got several samples of this. For those who've seen the Q&A, you know, you already heard the long ass spiel about the lore. It's over 4 hours of me just ranting about stuff I've been writing for over a year. It's a lot of fun. Sure. Yeah, Warglaive Gothic is in the works, and I hope plenty of people are excited for that.
And real quick before he has to go, because I think we're getting close to the point where
Yep,
Greg.
we're definitely getting close.
Does anyone have any questions for Greg / Kill Team Hungry?
Just shoot away.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions for him, feel free to ask in the chat or jump in the call line. That way, you know, hey, while he's still here, we can still ask him questions. After he's gone, we can no longer ask him questions.
This is true.
Because and Asmogon will get this joke, but I don't think anyone else will. But it is because he's a rock, Zoe.
Yeah. That was not a good Elmo impression. I just want to point that out.
It was
really out of context.
So Asmogon knocked on me because a couple of Sesame Street videos came up in my recommended of Elmo turning into the hugest piss taker ever. And
essentially, there's a character in Sesame Street that has a pet rock and is just pissing everybody off, like almost trying. What's so funny? To be fair, if you would have watched that, like, I'm sure if you were a little toddler or watched that episode, it probably
You
wasn't.
would not get it.
It would you not get it, or it would not be as funny. But
But as an adult,
but as an adult, it's just so funny to see Elmo getting enraged and pissed off because this rock, because this character's trying to convince everybody this rock's alive.
I love the best line is what does Rocco think? Elmo can't believe he said that. The best part is when I first mentioned this, because Aspen kind of asked me, like, what's so funny? And I tell him that I'm watching clips from Sesame Street. He's like, wait, seriously? That show is for toddlers. And then I send him the link, and then all you hear is him giggling, too.
It's stupidly funny.
Nathan asks us when as the next time I'm streaming. Probably, I don't know. Maybe if I will have time tomorrow. I'm actually painting a Custodes model for my kill team because I'm planning to play whenever I get to play. I'm gonna play with Custodes, and I'm currently working on a double Sentinel blade wielding shield captain. Is going to have the shield on its back, so I'm painting the helmet probably on a live stream. So probably tomorrow after we took care of our child, which means that it's about like 8 p.m. CEST, which is 4 p.m. No, 2 p.m. EST. So yeah, but I think Nathan is European, right?
Oh no, that ain't. Oh man.
Nathan is British.
Yeah, so it's like 7 p.m. British time. So yeah, probably tomorrow we will see. I will put a community.
Have a good one, Urus Odysseum.
So for anyone interested, Hungary is 6 hours ahead of Eastern Standard Time, which is where both me and Asmacon are.
And so it's just about 7 o'clock.
Yep.
Alright.
So, are there any questions?
From
I
us?
I also speak German, so if any German viewers are in the chat, then
I have quite a few. I have quite a few German.
I can also say a nice few words in German as well.
Ich habe 5 Jahre im Schule Deutsch gelernt.
Oh, very good. You just sound like an American spy speaking German.
Well, also, to be fair, I haven't used German in over a decade at this point, so...
Wow, that's nice.
I found out a word I looked up for German for the Grimdark I was working on has 10 different meanings.
Oh, yes.
One word in a language means 10 fucking things. They're not even like the same thing, slightly different. Like superintendent Letong.
Letong?
Letong. The American spelling is Leitung.
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 Yeah, Leitung.
It apparently means it apparently means conduit, superintendent, administrator, conductor, power cord. Like, I got sent a full list of what it can mean.
Channel, or wire, telephone wire.
It's like one word means that many things. And then all my German followers like, yeah, it makes sense though, because it depends on the context of the conversation. It's like, yeah, but what if you're just like, what if you're like pinned and you're like in pain and you need to tell someone, hey, grab the power cord and take it out of the wall, but you don't have time to say a full sentence, so you gotta say Letong, and they're like, and then in the room there's like a superintendent and administrator. There's loose wires hanging, and there's a power cord. Now they're like,
Even better. Here's my fuck up German word of 2 different meanings. So I said, because we were meant to go and say something about the next person in class that other people don't know. And I meant to say this girl is a Cancer, like the astrological sign Cancer. Yeah, I had to clear that one up really fucking quick, I know. But I meant to say, and I love how Kill Team Hungry just laughed because I think he knows where this is going. I meant to say she is a Cancer. What I said translates to she has crabs.
Will. I would definitely need explaining.
Which is the only time I've ever seen my German teacher get so pissed I thought she was actually going to hit someone, and unfortunately it was me. And I'm just sitting there like, but look, this is what it means. She's like, that ain't what you fucking said, but this is what it means. Oops.
And my favorite German knock knock. What is it called? No, the Gestapo knock knock joke. You know that, right?
No, but I can't wait to hear this one.
No, it's like knock knock. Who's there? Gestapo officer slaps the dude. It's like, we will ask the questions here. But yeah, it's a video. It's much funnier when you see it.
We had one guy. So for those of you who don't know, because German is a very special language.
Oh, you can say that again.
Very special.
The word for cookies is okay. No. It's kicked.
Kuchen.
It's what?
Kuchen.
Kuchen? Okay, so yeah, I was right the
Kuchen?
first time. Again, this has been 10 fucking years. So she gets to the guy, she's like, all right, now what is cookie in German? I'm not making this up. This was the best thing ever. He just stands up at his desk. Cock! And everyone just looks at him in shock and horror, like, what? That was probably one of the more interesting things to ever happen to me. There was someone saying that someone else had crabs, and then there was someone just screaming cock for cookies. So, take it for what you will.
Well, what's funny, I don't have any language stories like that, but the closest I got, at least that would be a good segue off that, is in high school, you know how the teachers like are always there to some degree and are always listening? So students inevitably come up with like a coded language when they talk about certain things. Well,
We did.
Well, we did. The teachers were fucking everywhere, man. So we came up with certain terms that we could get away with discussing things. And what is one thing that teenagers are bound to talk about and converse about other than drugs and alcohol? Sex.
X.
So the guys came up with this, and the girls were okay with it. That's the thing. The coded language is for everybody to get except the teachers. So we all had to like workshop this. And the guys came up with, and don't ask me which guy, I just know the guys, someone amongst the guys, came up with using the term cookie to refer to a woman's private parts. And the ladies came up with, because the thing is, we thought the girls were going to come up with something a little bit more obvious for some reason. We thought they were going to say bratwurst, Franks. We were thinking something like that. What they came up with to describe our bits, I don't know why, but they
spit it out.
Asparagus. I don't know why they thought that was a good innuendo.
I can think of a really horrible justification for it.
The smell.
Well, no, because it is a vegetable that in a way does look like a penis, but at the same time it makes your pee smell.
Now I know just stating outright what we called each other's bits doesn't sound funny when you just give like the coded word, but you got to picture the conversations we had, okay? You got to picture this, right? Okay, the teachers would be walking around. They'd be hearing us talk at length about how much we enjoyed those cookies and how much the ladies thought this asparagus was too small compared to this other one. These are conversations the teachers heard, and I swear to God, they always had a look of confusion. Like, we had a teacher named Mr. Hartley. He was in charge of doing. We called him the warden as well. That was a nickname. He would patrol the lunchtime period, and would just listen in to conversations. It was kind of creepy, but at the same time, we kind of got it. Like, they're paranoid. And just the conversations we know at one point the teachers started to pick up on the coded language, so we changed some words around, but I don't think they ever figured out what cookie and asparagus was referring to. But it was hilarious, the conversations we had, and we got away with. Oh, God. The thing is, some of the conversations were even as overt as, you sticking the asparagus into the cookie, like terms like that, saying things like that, and the teachers still didn't figure it out till like I was pretty much out of high school, like it was senior year, and it was around that point I started to sense some of the teachers got it, but never Mr. Hartley. I don't think he ever picked. He was the one listening for it too, and he never picked up on the language.
You know, just because we're on this topic, I actually found a really good joke on Facebook. Are you a top or a bottom? A pancake ain't done till it's been flipped on both sides.
Resources acquired.
Ruskin, thank you for the super chat, man. Thank you. The fact that adults were spying is pathetic. Well, the thing is, it's not like they were creepily, like they were overt. Like he was walking around, he was doing his patrol.
It did make it a little weird, though.
It was weird. We couldn't talk about taboo topics, at least, like I said, without the coded language.
No, I'm saying it's weird having the image of, like, them going around, like, sneakily trying to spy on you instead of them, like, doing their job.
It would have been kind of creepy.
Wasn't their job to spy on you?
It's their job to supervise us and teach us stuff, supposedly. I don't think they did either very well, but that's my opinion.
Well...
All
right, guys. I mean, it's time, so I can hear my my boss calling. Thank you very much for having me, and I will definitely look at the recording of the Warglaive stuff here on the stream as well in your last video because I'm interested. And I hate to leave, but I have to. So
No, it's all good, man.
It's all good.
I hope I can come next time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We love having you on, man.
Like, actually next week, if so, I can write you in, but...
I'm actually free for the next 2 weeks because I'm out of work now. And it's, again, 2 weeks for my next work to start, so I'm pretty flexible now. So let's see. I'm hopefully we will have more positive topics to talk about.
Hopefully.
I mean, when talking about GW fucking our hobby life up. And our fandom. So yeah.
It was great having you on, man. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah,
thank you very much. Yeah, Emperor protects.
Emperor protects.
Goodbye, yeah.
Bye, yeah.
Zip.
All right.
And I will pull mine up now. I have to load up the OBS. Start the virtual camera. Now I have to go to Discord because Discord is special. There we go.
There he is.
I have found out how to use an image on the green screen because I am smirked.
You are smirked. Is your brute.
It only took me like 2 goddamn years, but you know, hey, whatever.
Yeah, you figure things out when you figure it
out.
You gonna make it?
By the way, I'm glad that I didn't have the face cam on when you it was during the last segue. Because I was taking a sip of tea when you did, and it made me laugh to where I shot it out my nose, and it hurt like hell. But I was like, oh shit.
Why?
I forgot what it was now. That's where my memory is.
All over the place. Some things never change.
Well, no, it's just so as I've already told you this, and kind of segue into the where we were talking about like doing the updates and everything.
Mm.
For everyone who doesn't know, I am restructuring my channel because I am way too fucking stressed out.
Understandable.
The shortest amount of hours I have worked the past 7 weeks is I had 1 week at 30 hours and 1 week at 36. The rest of them are about 45-ish, and then one at 51. So I have to completely restructure my channel around work. In fact, this past week, we lost 2 more cooks. So, being the most experienced cook at night, everything falls on my shoulders. And, yeah. So, I am now doing it where instead of doing 6 different videos a week, I'm doing the same game on Sunday and Tuesday. And then and that'll be any game either me or my community choose. I'm finishing up Mass Effect 3 now. I actually finished up, I just have to finish editing the videos. Doing this, I try to be 2 weeks ahead, but doing this way, I now have enough videos for 5 weeks. So, I'm actually kind of set there. The third slot will be on Thursday. That'll be a 40k gameplay video. This can be Warhammer 40k. This will be Total War. This could be Deathwing, Dawn of War, anything like that. And then Saturday will be the lore videos. I have 2 planned coming up, which this week will be the Alternate Heresy Legion canon changes. Essentially what I have to go in and change to make all the legions change from loyal to traitor or vice versa. And then next week was actually, this is when I want to get your opinion on Asmogon, you orc lover, you. I got a request for a video for my StarCraft versus 40k series, which is the orcs versus the StarCraft universe. And I know where I stand on this one already, but I am really curious to know where you stand.
Well, the thing is, to give you context, the orcs are the only thing that prevents the orcs from conquering the 40k universe is that they're so disorganized and chaotic. That's the only thing that stops them, is that they're too dumb. Otherwise, they have every advantage in the book. They're as prolific in their numbers as Tyranids. So that's very important. They're destructive to a fault. Their ability to believe something to be real is overtly OP, and the only reason that they don't win on that alone is they're too dumb to realize it's a thing.
and this does go too. Like, I do all my StarCraft versus 40k videos if I'm doing it. Now, what they say is, like, how different tribes will handle the StarCraft universe. Do what?
You mean clans?
Yeah, different clans. That's what I'm sorry. But how different clans will handle the StarCraft universe. I don't know if I'll go that deep. I might just do the orcs as a faction, because I don't know that much about the individual orc clan, so I won't be able to
I can give you a quick summary right now.
It's not a quick summary.
Well, no, it is. Well, the thing is, I can give you a detailed one, or I can give you a quick one. But the quick one for all the clans, right off the bat, off the top of my head, the first one I'll go over is the only one that's really not a clan. They're more of a label in the Orc Society. They're the freebooters. They're the pirates. They're space pirates of orcs. For orcs, they're considered too skeevy and, well, piratey.
The only two,
so they're tossed out of Orc Society.
Yeah, the only two I have any real knowledge on were the freebooters and the Goths.
Yeah, the Goths are the everyman's orc. They are the most melee focused. They like to bust stuff up. They are typically followers of Gork. The thing is, everyone. I don't care how long you've been a fan of orcs. I don't care if you've been a fan of orcs for 20, 30 years. There's no way in hell you're going to convince me you 100% of the time remember who's who every time. Now, I'm pretty sure Gork is typically the one the god that is considered the most, like, brutal, because he's brutal but cunning, and
Mork is cunning but brutal.
yeah, and Mork is typically the one you would worship, if you're more about Daka, stealth, mechs. If you're more get up in their face and bust shit up, that's the Goths. They like anything farther away than melee range is cowardice to a Goth. That's
to put in a bit of perspective, if you take Augustgrad, the capital of what was that planet? Korhal, the capital of Korhal, and you throw essentially the second war for Armageddon at it, they would lose. I really believe they would. And the only reason I think that is because I know how orcs work. I do know, like, to an extent how they work, which is the spores and their fighting styles and stuff like that. I just don't know how the different clans are individually, realistically. But
well, outside the Goths,
damn
well, I said I'd give you a full rundown, and
I opened Pandora's box.
Yes, you did. And you're getting your full dose. The next ones I would mention are the Bad Moons. The Bad Moons are the wealthiest out of the clans, and they have the most guns, artillery, and vehicles. They are the ones that would be shooting artillery rounds at shit. I shit you not. Just
everything.
Just firing artillery like a motherfucker while painting the battlefield with Daka shots. That's the Bad Mooners. They're the ranged fighters.
Okay.
After the Bad Mooners, you have the Death Skulls. The Death Skulls are blue and purple. Which blue is lucky, and purple is stealthy. Because have you ever seen a purple orc? No, you have not. So
don't say shit like that, please.
That's exactly why. That's exactly how it works. Like they believe that.
I thought of an orc. I thought of an orc that looks kind of like a war ball. So it looks like fucking Barney the dinosaur.
Exactly. It's like purple is the color that you can't see. Because have you ever seen a purple orc? It's not done. So they are convinced that that's the stealthy color. So the Death Skulls are both lucky and stealthy.
Okay.
They're also obsessed with mechs and scavenging the battlefield. They love scrap from the battlefield. So the Killican, they're the ones that would probably run into battle with the most amount of Killicans and Death Dreads, Stompas, Morkanauts, Gorkanauts. That's their run-in. After the Death Skulls, Evil Sons. It's pretty easy. You just look at them and know how they work. They are fast. Go fast. Gotta go faster. That's the Evil Sons. They love to run into the battlefield at full breakneck fucking speed. They are red goes fasta and bust shit up.
Hey, Ace. I opened Pandora's box.
Yeah, I'm giving them the rundown of the orc clans. All right, so
I mentioned a comment for a video that I'm going to do, and now I've opened Pandora's box.
You said, and I will quote you here, I'm curious what your take is on this.
I was curious what your take was. I wasn't expecting a full goddamn rundown of all the orc clans.
Well, it's important information to know while I'm about to tell you how Korhal would not survive being attacked
by any of the orc clans, probably.
No, because the thing is, they all have certain things in common.
Mm-hmm.
One of those is when an orc spore lands on... Keep in mind, in 40k, if an orc spore lands on your planet and you don't immediately flamer that shit, and it has any time to grow at all, you will always have orcs on that planet. In some degree. You will never be rid of the orcs on that planet, ever.
This is why I made the comparison to the War for Armageddon. Because Armageddon is a hellhole, and Korhal is just a nuclear radiating ball. So I feel like that would be at least a bit comparable as far as environment, or at least how hostile the environment would be. So if orcs can survive on Armageddon, I'm fully convinced that orcs will be able to survive on Korhal, no problem.
Mm-hmm. And to give you an idea, they've planned the Imperium. I believe this is the most extreme story. I don't know if it's actually canon. It might be a fan story. But there is an iteration of a story of when the Imperium had to planet crack.
Oh shit!
Do a core crack of a planet
Just to get rid of the orcs.
just to get rid of the orcs on a planet, and it didn't work. There was still orcs alive. They're like cockroaches.
So Dragonus makes an interesting point. On some planets, you have enough promethium. I get that, but the problem is this is what would happen if any of the orcs went to Core Hall in StarCraft. Like, what would be an interesting fight, honestly, would be the orcs versus the Zerg. Because I have this adorable image in my head of, like, an orc riding a Hydralisk. And I don't know why, but I just...
You'd probably try.
Because I'm all... You would try. But it also makes me think of, like, the little cute animations of the orcs and the Carbot animation of the Hydralisk and him just riding around on it.
Oh, you filthy gits. Get that damn thing. I want to ride it. Just running after Hydralisk. I'm just like, leave me alone. Like,
here's actually
that's
really
my new mount.
How do you think a squig would do against Zergling?
I would say to the Zergling, sorry man, good luck. Squig, do you know the lore about the squigs?
I know some of the lore.
This is so great.
Real quick, if anyone could tame a Zerg, it's either an Orc, Dark Eldar, or some Chaos. Dude.
Okay, do you know Facebiter? Do you know Facebiter squigs? I believe that's their full title. It might be
no.
Okay, so there's this hobby or like a game that orcs play. It's kind of a game where they lock their jaw in with squigs to mimic a human kiss, and if the orc remains conscious, because apparently something about the squig's breath can knock them the fuck out. If the orc remains conscious, he wins and he can eat the squig. If he falls unconscious, the squig will then proceed to eat his face, and he loses. So it's a face eater squig.
Yes, I imagine he fucking would if he lost his face.
You'd be surprised. And the whole reason Gazkul is still fucking alive is because Mad Doc Grotznik was like, fuck it, I don't believe you're dead. And he wasn't.
Yeah, okay, I mean, yeah, to be fair, that's another good example. I have not
Face spider squig, thank you.
I have never heard anything in StarCraft to compare to the story of Gazgul Magoruk Thraka. I'm glad I know that from memory. Where he literally got the top of his head fucking shot off. And then, the Mad Doc just, like, stirred everything in there.
No, he was decapitated.
Oh, he was fully decapitated? I thought it was just like top of his head, like right here.
Even on the model, the stitches in the miniature, the stitches are around his fucking not even his neck. It's like part of his shoulders was cut off too by Ragnar, and at the same time, Ragnar Blackmane cut his head off. Gazkul used his big power claw and ripped his guts out. So simultaneously, after having his head cut off, he also gutted and disemboweled Ragnar. And the only thing that saved Ragnar was he got the Primaris thing.
Here's a scary thought for you. Loser just put this in the chat. Give them enough time stewing in the orc spores, the Zerg will be orky enough.
Possibly.
Imagine orky Zergs. Imagine that. Now, where I could actually see this being a great idea is the Brood Lords, who their weapon is they fire out these massive spores. So that makes sense. And then we get to the Ultralisk. An Orky Ultralisk.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be equal part. That would be hilarious to play that in if someone would skin that, I would love to play that in a multiplayer game against someone who didn't know. And just freak people the fuck out, because I am actually mostly a Zerg player.
Oh yeah, that's right. Corner reminded. There's also a type of squig that are used as bagpipes. This shit
does not surprise me.
It's a living squig. It's not like they took a squig and then did the taxidermy thing to make it. No, it's a living squig that comes out of the spores like this. that they use as a fucking instrument. The lore with the squigs is the fucking best. Okay?
I have to seriously ask, did they just pick people with mental deficiencies to write the lore for the orcs?
No, they just picked some people with an awesome sense of humor and imagination.
Oh, definitely. But
Like, what's the dumbest shit we can write, but what's absolutely fucking amazing? This is why they're my main army. Okay, this is why they're also my second favorite faction in the overall lore. I love
Orcs
this so
will
much.
launch Tyranids onto a planet if the planet isn't strong enough for a better fight. I could see that.
Yeah, the thing is, the Tyranids, Zerg, you name it, nothing like that would intimidate them. They would be excited. That's the thing. They see a strong enemy, like an orc doesn't look at a fucking Imperial Knight and go, "Shit, gotta run." No, they go, "Yeah!" Ah! And even if they're completely crushed and stomped in place, to them that was the best way to go.
It reminds me of the story of Tuska Demon Killer.
Oh, he's great.
Oh, he is.
An orc an orc that fucking Korn himself is like, bro, this is great.
No. It's not bro. It's literally, he gets to the warp, bruh. I want that.
Oh, Tuska Demon Killer. Just for all eternity in Korn's realm, just killing shit.
And happy as can be about it, dude.
It's perfect. It's literally the only happy ending in all of 40k. The sad, depressing ending is if Korn went, "Nah, I gotta get you out of this realm for whatever reason." Tuska would be depressed.
No, like send him back to Katie or some shit.
That would not end well.
No, actually, that might work out if Korn sends it back to Katie, and then the 13th Black Crusade hits. That would please an orc.
For as long as it lasted, definitely.
Yes, Jake. You did miss the subject about the fan films. Essentially, to summarize really quickly.
That was the beginning of the stream, and we finished that up about, I want to say 20 minutes ago, just about.
Yeah, give or take. But yeah, essentially, we're all kind of like, yeah, GW's gonna fuck this up.
Mm-hmm. And that's like the bluntest way to put it, but I certainly encourage you to go check out the beginning of the stream. It was definitely a good conversation. It was good to have Greg on too. But yeah, to simplify my take on how the orcs would do against the entirety of the StarCraft universe, God help the StarCraft universe if orc spores get launched and last for even a second there, because they would not survive.
No, I think the only ones that would have even the remotest of chances of who would last the longest might be the Protoss, but I say that very questioningly. But now, and this goes back to actually, I want to bring that up too. Ace mentioned that, but before we jump onto that topic, but someone, because I did a Protoss versus Tau video, and and this was actually kind of weird. It was either I got flack for it or I had people agree with it completely. Because I did say I do think the Tau would actually stand a chance against the Protoss if it's full-on faction versus faction. And this would also include the Farside Enclave as well. I think with the specialists from that, plus, a lot of the shit the Tau do because they're sneaky little bastards, I don't think they're a great faction, but I do think they would actually have a chance against the Protoss, and they would actually probably eke out a victory. But that's why I'm actually looking forward to Orcs versus StarCraft, because this one's kind of clear cut.
Yeah, it's fairly clear cut.
But Ace, thoughts on Sisters of Battle getting a Marvel comic series? Oh, so they're turning Marnius Calgar into a woman.
Yeah, I saw Ace's video about it, and I left a cheeky comment saying, I see DMs coming for me soon. This bodes well. My take is the same as it's been. Marvel and 40k stuff, as we already saw with Marnius Calgar, is just shit. It's just complete shit. It's not good. It's complete crap, and I just horrified what they're gonna do with sisters. They're probably gonna make them.
I'm gonna make you more pissed at Ace than you were at me earlier.
Why?
Can't wait for the third Marvel 40K comic book series where they cover the Black Templars. And then
Fuck you.
I Lizard follows up with Alone in the Dark, Dark Templar versus Purple Boy. Come on, they couldn't fuck up the Black Templars.
Don't say that, because they will.
I want to see them do a Chaos comic because there's really legit no way you can fuck up a Chaos story unless you take it the route of Warhammer Adventures. Asmogon. So
Well,
Marvel's
technically there are some male units amongst the Sisters of Battle, but not.
There are no male Sisters of Battle.
There are no male Sisters of Battle, but there are male units in their army.
This makes me want to be the ultimate troll because if I remember right, there's a mod for Fallout 4 where you get Sisters of Battle armor and play a male character and get it and be like, "Hey, GW, look, I can fucking do it too."
But yeah, my thoughts before. I'm not gonna make a video about it, but my thoughts about the Sisters of Battle comic is it's gonna suck. Like, especially if it's written by the same people, it's gonna suck.
probably
Like,
will
I
be.
don't see it being done well. Marvel already so. I want to say gloriously, but that's definitely not the right word. They already so malevolently
Currently,
shredded apart Marnius. And I hate Ultramarines, but even I felt bad.
I love that. I hate the Ultramarines, but damn, I felt bad for
Like,
them.
there's some low blows against the Smurfy boys. Even I wouldn't go that low. Like, I felt bad by proxy for the Ultramarine fan. I was like, I feel so bad for you guys. I hate your faction, but I feel so bad. I hate your faction, but they have more dignity than this. Jesus Christ. So whatever they're about to do with the sisters, it's not good. I don't like. Maybe I'll be wrong. Hopefully I am. Hopefully it's a good comic. But this is modern Marvel. They suck at this shit.
I want this ripped completely out of context. Ace just said, "I know the author of the Sisters of Battle comic has a thing for cherub models."
A sexual thing? Because if so, that's kind of fucked up.
That is really fucked up. That's why I want that ripped out of context so hard.
It's like, I have a thing for cherub. You have a thing for aborted babies that get turned into robotic assistants for Sisters of Battle?
I wasn't going to go that fucking far.
Well, that's what they are! That's what the cherubs are!
I know exactly what they are, but I was willing to stop at a line.
The cherubs are aborted babies. Well, they're not necessarily aborted. Sometimes they're vat grown, I think. But the point is, they're infants that the Sisters of Battle take, essentially lobotomize, and turn into little drones that just go around and do stuff for them. They're actual baby corpses, essentially, being used for tools. It's just as fucked. They're just servitors, essentially, but still.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're flying baby servitor.
Sweet lord. Gunner NWP, how do you know that? Twitter. I don't know that. Lace is the one who told us that she likes the cherub models. I don't have it in front of me. Might be untrue. But Ace is typically reliable. If peeps did not figure out that GW gives no fucks about their IP, point at the Marvel license. Yeah. The news regarding the cherubs was from the article where Marvel announced the new comic book series. Okay. I'm not reading that one, Murder's kidding. We're not going political here. Yep, I just safely assume that it's gonna suck as badly as the Marnius Calgar comic and call it there. And any other speculation would require me to look into it more than that. And I'd rather just wait to read the fucking thing when Ace eventually forces me to. And then sit there and bawl in agony as a franchise I once loved is...
At least you know your place
Eviscerated.
in the scale of things.
Yep.
When Ace forces me to read this piece of shit.
It's a pattern. Anyway, all Marvel movies are the fucking same.
Wouldn't go that far.
I wouldn't go that far. I'd say there's definitely ones that are better than others, but what I would say I agree with is the vibe of them is now becoming identical. Like the way they film them, the way they shoot them is virtually the same.
I will say that the newer ones definitely have that feel, but the old ones don't. How long until GW looks at Marvel and just tells them to F off? Never. They think it makes them money, and they are stupid for this.
They've been stupid for a long time. How long until GW looks at Marvel and just tells them to F off? Never. This is GW. If they get any kind of advertisement or money out of it, they're all for it. Is the money they're getting going up? It's a win. Doesn't matter if it butchers their lore. It doesn't matter if it makes their shit look like crap. Doesn't matter if it tears apart the lore. They don't care. It's money. It's about the green. Don't ever think for a moment GW gives a shit about their franchise. They really don't. Maybe at one time back in the day when they first started it, but not now. Whoever runs GW now, this is a business only to them, which is fine. I just find it annoying when they pretend it's not. Just be honest.
So GW doesn't have a line in the sand? Apparently fucking not.
No, as long as their line stops where the money stops.
Yep.
The moment you stop throwing money at them, that's when they're like, oh, ho, ho, ho. Now we're going to put our foot down. You continue to throw money at them, they'll be like, yeah, let's keep it going.
And this is where we were talking about this a few weeks ago, where the best way to get GW to change is, people are talking about, like, you gotta, speak up, you gotta speak up, I ain't gonna do a damn thing. If you really want GW to change, then what you're gonna have to do is...
You have to vote with your dollar.
Stop buying their shit. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to vote with your... Stop buying their fucking shit. I haven't bought any... The only recent models I've bought were secondhand off of eBay. I got a couple of orc models secondhand off of eBay, which I had to strip. And that was like a month ago. I haven't even had a chance to prime them. I have a huge backlog of minis I intend to paint, and I don't have any need to buy anything from GW for a long ass time.
Remember, GW can't be bothered to spell text. Spell check text on their videos.
Warhammer Fest. Couldn't even spell check their own shit. We can't change GW. That's such a foolish thought to have, sadly. Yeah, you can't. Like, you cannot... Well, the only way you could. This is the only way. Don't think that there's another way. The only way you can change GW is if you vote with your dollar. Okay, they follow the money. If the money stops, they will change because they have to. It's because there will be no other choice for them. As long as they can continue doing what they're doing, they're going to. That's the end of the story. You can bitch and moan on the internet all you want, like we are right now, but all it's good for is venting. Like, this is just venting. Do I think anything we're saying right now is ever going to affect you? No. No, they don't care.
Gunner NWP asked a really good question. I'll give my quick thought and then yours. So then what is the line for fan? Just up and quit as in a mass exodus from the hobby 40K and Age of Sigmar? Not necessarily,
Well, your options are stop buying their shit or leave.
Well,
or make your own stuff. That's it. Like, you have those three options. I wish I could provide another avenue. There's no other solution. Again, you can bitch and moan about the hobby as much as you want on the internet. You can go on Twitter and do it. You can go on Reddit and do it. You can go here on YouTube and do it. How many times is that actually... The email campaign that Arch started forever ago, what did that achieve? Nothing. We crashed their email system. That was a victory. Shortly after that, did anything change as a result? Did they make a counter statement or anything towards what the whole email campaign was about? No. It resulted in nothing. They do not care about people bitching and moaning on the internet. They don't even care what people like. They dislike their videos to all fucking hell. It doesn't matter. If the dollar signs are up, They don't give a shit. Your complaints fall on deaf ears if the money is still rolling in. They don't care. End of
And
story. If you think otherwise, I'm sorry, you're wrong. They only care
and
about money. That's it.
no, and I agree with that, but my answer was a little bit different. So for me, like I got Death Watch books from Humble Bundle, but there are places you can go to get the free PDFs for a lot of the rule books. You know, if you want to run the 40K games and run them your ways, do that. And hell, if you want homebrew them, I homebrewed the absolute hell out of my Death Watch game that I ran. You know, if you still want to be a part of, or if you're still interested in the lore, per se, you know, you have Asmogon, you have myself, you have people like Luton, Arch, Tactica Imperialis. Much as I really don't like the fucker, he does really good lore videos. You know, so 40K Theories, you know, you can do that. To watch them is free. So you don't necessarily have to up and leave the hobby or the community, but you don't have to put any money into it.
Yeah. I mean, that your options are what they are. You can still participate in the hobby, you can still play games with the miniatures that you have, but if you want them to stop doing what they're doing, you can't keep giving them money.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. Me, I'm working on my own grimdark sci-fi universe. I have my business model intended. I'm working on Warglaive. I'm putting all of my money and energy into that. I don't have time to put all my energy and money into 40K anymore. Me, I'm frustrated. Am I ever going to stop being a fan of 40K? No. I love the lore. Whether they ruin the lore down the line or not, it doesn't change what they did right. I still have those books. I still like that stuff. That's not going anywhere. I just won't pay attention to what's coming. None of that's... I'm just not going to buy their new books. I'm just not going to buy their new models. I'm not going to buy their new stuff if I don't like what they're doing. Which I really don't.
So, Jake, I don't really recognize you from the streams. It might just be I'm accidentally overlooking. If so, I do apologize. But you just said some people don't understand. We just can't leave the hobby. It's so much a part of us that if we left, it's a gaping fucking hole that was filled for decades. Yes, that's true. But again, it goes back to what I said. Like one of the things that's really funny is with me and Asmogon, one of the reasons we co-host this podcast really well together is we play off of each other really well, and we do know what buttons there are if we want to kind of, you know, throw a little jab here and there. You know, I'll just start talking about Space Wolves because my least favorite legions are actually my bottom three. Last time I checked was Word Bearers, Ultramarines, and Space Wolves. I just don't like the Space Wolves. Never have, probably never fucking will. And my top legion has always been Thousand Suns, and then top three is Thousand Suns, White Scars, and Blood Angels. And so, you know, it's something that people will make fun of me for liking Thousand Suns. You know, well, Magnus didn't do anything wrong. Like, no, Magnus did a lot of shit wrong. He was an arrogant piece of shit. But I do think he had the best intentions, so I have that back and forth with Asmogon every so often. I'll talk about how the Space Wolves are one-dimensional furries. We'll have that back and forth every so often. You know, it's something where take what enjoyment you can out of the hobby. Even if it's just, like I said, the little back and forth. You know, not saying that's all we enjoy. Me, I love the lore. Like I said, I'm actually doing a whole series right now on flipping the loyalists and traitors in the Horus Heresy. And the next video I have coming up is how I went through all 18 of the legions and figured out what would be that one point where I could actually just push either the loyalists to that point to where they become the traitors.
Hey, Marlena, welcome.
Or what would be that one point where I can keep the traitors loyal? And that research right there is really fun to me because I already love 30K. That's my favorite part of 40K is 30K. But I actually get to go through and be like, oh, cool. Now I get to, you know, take this story and almost make it my own. And Marlena Moreau, why don't you like the Word Bearers? Just curious. Because the only good piece of Word Bearers lore is
Wait.
back before.
I thought we were all like even on this. Word bears suck.
Well, no, they actually have one good thing in their lore. One good thing, and that is before they reunite with Lorgar on Colchis, what their main battle tactic was is they would send a chaplain up to whatever they were going to attack and essentially be like, "Hey, surrender. I'm serious." And it would just be him. And there were times when the city was like, "Ha, there's only one of you," and they would attack, and he would kill hundreds of humans, of Xenos, of whatever. Well, actually, at this point, it was actually mostly humans because it was more like surrender and join us. And he would kill hundreds of humans before finally dying himself, and then the rest of the word bearers come over a hill and just fuck their shit up. That is cool. Like, it actually, as much as Asmogon might hate this, but this is back before they're the word bearers. This actually kind of gives off a little bit of a Black Templar vibe to me. Because they send the one guy, and I could actually
no, that doesn't piss me off because it's the religious aspect. You know, people commonly say like, "Oh, Templars are just loyalist word bearers." Well, yeah, the loyalist part makes a big difference to me.
Well, no.
That being said, like, no, I don't think comparisons between word bearers and Black Templars is unfair. There's definitely plenty that's fair there. The core difference is their core values and mentality about how they go about their worships.
Well, no, I just mean this tactic itself, because I could see Reclusiarch Grimaldus going up to a city and be like, "Fucking surrender," and if they don't, him fucking up half the population, and then the rest of the Black Templar just coming over hill like, we're gonna fuck shit up.
Well, they'd love to fuck shit up. But they like to do it together, and they like to do it from the get-go. None of this pussyfooting shit.
Well, no, and that's kind of my point, where that's why I really love that part of their lore, because that's awesome. Like, that is a really cool part of their lore. And then they meet Lorgar at Colchis and Erebus and Corphaeron. And again, now by the way, this is a little sneak peek, but this is actually the funniest part of my turning traders to or keeping the traders loyal. My literal way of keeping the word bearers loyal is that Lorgar sees through the bullshit, and first thing he does is kill Erebus and Corphaeron. That is the only way I can see to keep him loyal, is the first thing he does, like, they're full of shit. Bam, bam. Okay. Right. And he's good.
I see through the bullshit.
That's literally what I had him do. Well, I'm sorry. No, there are two things. That was the first part. The second part is when the Emperor and Malcador the Sigilite keep telling him, like, no, stop fucking worshipping. There's a difference from what you think you're doing and what you're actually doing. You know, he actually sits there and, I don't know, fucking listens. Ow.
But yeah.
I did that a little harder than I meant to.
Well, yeah, to that core topic, though, of 40k, and like I said, to summarize, I love 40k. I never won't.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not developing Warglaive as a replacement. I don't think anyone should ever develop anything with a mind to replace something else. Develop something as it is its own thing. That's how I would develop Warglaive. But as it stands with specifically with Warhammer and how I'm not happy with the hobby, but that's why I just don't make thousands of videos bitching about it. I occasionally vent to Ludus. I occasionally vent to some other my friends about my frustrations, but at the end of the day, I'm a lifetime fan. No matter what they do to fuck this shit up, I'll still love what it once was. I'll still always collect models and paint them. It's a forever hobby for me.
Yeah, and I don't think I've actually shared the story of how I got into 40k. So this year will be 17 years ago I got into 40k. And my best friend, who I need to get back in touch with, and we haven't talked in a couple months now, we were talking, and he knew I really like StarCraft and I like sci-fi games. He actually got me into Dawn of War Soulstorm. he's like, hey, you like that 40K game? I'm doing a tabletop like Dungeons and Dragons, except it's 40K. You want to join? I'm like, okay, I'll try it out. There was one GM and like fucking 10 players. The very first game we ran, and I will give him a little bit of credit on this. Me and him were two different types of DMs. He ran it to be as realistic to 40K as possible. We were a penal legion getting sent to a planet with orcs. The session lasted about 2 hours. Let me correct this sentence. The campaign lasted about like 3 hours. He killed off all the players in 3 hours. With not including character creation.
Sadist DM.
Well, and the best part is he didn't really have to kill off all the players. The Psyker helped.
Well, yeah, he's a psyker. It's his job.
He critically failed a roll and summoned 3 fucking bloodletters.
Gotta love critical fail. Critical fail. Like, as a DM, though, critical fails are the best.
But
it's just coming up with ideas to, like, royally fuck over your players.
Oh, yeah. But that was my first experience into 40K, and I got started through the tabletop pen and papers. I got started with, I believe that one was...
Oh, real quick. Gunner NWP says, is there anything you can take from GW on not what to do for your game? Not gameplay, but for lore. Do you mean on what not to do for my game, for lore? From what I've taken is, once you establish something as canon for your lore, and actually have a canon, once you have an established lore in your canon... Well, actually, I think the biggest thing I've taken is I'm not hiring on 50 writers for one fucking series. It's me. That's fucking it. Me, and that's it. I'm not going to say I'm not ever going to write other writers for the series. No, I definitely want to bring on writers to start their own series in the universe of novels. That'd be great, because I don't want to write like 30 different series. But the core series, like the most attractive series of lore, like the reunification lore... I want to write that lore. I want to write that lore. That's me. And the core lore is all me. When I bring on other writers, I'm bringing them on to start their own series, and I'm also going to watch them like a hawk. If they want to add something to the universe, they need to talk to me. They need to workshop it with me. If they want to change something in the universe, they need to workshop it with me, talk to me. If they want to just have a different angle on something, please talk to me. I will be hands-on very much with the writing process of even other people's work. I'm not going to hinder it too much. All I'm going to do is make sure they follow the laws and rules that this universe has. Everything else is theirs. The characters, they want to make a new character in the universe, they don't even need to tell me that. I'll read the book. I'll have the new character, and I can keep it in mind for other stuff. Especially miniature designs. I'm all for that. But when it comes to the core rules and aspects of the universe, they need to consult me. That'll be part of a contract I will write out for any future writers. They need to consult me on changes, additions, or reiterations of things that I've already established. That is a rule. And I'm also, even then, it's one writer per series. Like, if you're a writer and I hire you on, you are allowed to write 50 books, but they're all your series. In the lore, in the universe, for the universe. But I'm not going to throw in another writer to write some novels in your same series. It's your series as that writer. Your characters, your storytelling, your tone, you will maintain. Your vision. I will not hinder that by throwing in another writer like GW does to Horus Heresy, which every book is a different fucking writer.
But yeah, and actually that's kind of an interesting way to segue. I got into the books late in my 40K journey. Those were actually the last thing I got into.
They were like the second thing I got into. I got into the miniatures first, and then I got into the books.
For me, it was the tabletop RPG, the video games, the tabletop RPGs, and then researching the lore myself, and then the books.
I played the video games first, but they weren't my introduction, because I didn't know they were part of, like, a bigger universe. Dawn of War was my first, overt introduction into 40K. I just didn't know it was anything but a video game. I found out that it was a tabletop community big thing from a friend of mine way long after I played the first Dawn of War game, which is years ago.
Um, but yeah, so uh, and here's something funny. The next RPG I got in, tabletop RPG I got into was Death Watch, and hilariously, without having any information about them, I automatically hated the fucking Ultramarines. Um, I just didn't like them. Didn't like their color scheme. Didn't like their ability, shit like that. I believe my first favorite of the Loyalist was the Imperial Fists, if I remember right. I remember liking how they worked in Death Watch, but hating their color scheme. I'm like, thank God they all wear black. I never cared for the eye searing yellow.
I like that yellow. It's a nice, beautiful, piercing yellow. I hate the blue.
Oh, it's definitely piercing.
Oh, I love it. It's so bold and strong. I love it. I love that yellow.
But then I started getting more into the lore, and then that's when I started really getting my love, honestly, for Chaos, and eventually my first, I believe, favorite Traitor Legion was Death Guard, and now it's Thousand Suns.
All right.
So, and this actually shows that even over time, when it comes to favorite Traitor Legions, I went from Death Guard to almost their polar opposite of Thousand Suns. And for Loyalists, I went from, my favorite being, I want to say it really was Imperial Fist, but I didn't give a shit about any of the Loyalists, to now my top two are the White Scars and the Blood Angels. So even getting into the lore, even after 17 years of the lore, I'm still changing my opinion about it, almost every time I dig into it. Won't change my opinion of the Space Corgis, though.
Yeah. Everyone.
That was one of the very few things that came out good of text-to-speech device, is the idea of renaming the Space Wolves and all iteration of the word wolf as Corgi.
Space Corgi. Meanwhile, you're in love with the space nerds.
I am very proud to be in love with the space nerds. They have a really tragic story.
They have a hilariously stupid story.
Oh no, it's very self-inflicted, but it is kind of tragic.
For such a book smart man, Magnus is such a fucking idiot.
And the best part is that it wasn't because he was stupid, it's because he was fucking arrogant. And that was his downfall. Like, this is why I really do love 30K Chaos, is because all of the Primarchs, including the loyal ones, had a major flaw that could have been just flicked at any point to turn them traitor. And it's really interesting going through and seeing that, and seeing how really the loyalists, even though, they were kind of tested a little bit, but how the Chaos Gods knew they couldn't really make some of them fully fall. A good example of this is Sanguinius. How he was tested constantly by Khorne, because Khorne's a massive asshole, and just he didn't fall. But then you have the ones like Mortarion, who it took very, very little to eventually get him to full-on turn to Chaos. Now, his journey there was long, yes. Getting him to turn traitor was hard. But getting him to go from renegade against the Emperor to full-on Nurgle worshiper was a really short trip. But getting him to the point of, okay, we gotta fight against Dad because he's just using us in his bullshit, that actually took a lot. But turning him into Lord Smelly was honestly not that hard. And that had a lot to do with Typhus being a massive dick.
Typhus is a massive dick. But he's got a badass weapon.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. I love the Man Reaper. But the thing about Typhus is on the manner of arrogance. The arrogance that Typhus has is greater than that of all the Thousand Sons put together. He literally, in Flight of the Eisenstein, says he knows better than both Mortarion and Horus.
That's some balls.
And I'm like, that is a statement and a half right there, boy. you done fucking goof.
Bold. You could respect boldness, but not with Davis. Kind of a dick.
I can respect boldness, not suicidal tendencies.
As it says, Dawn of War is my gateway drug. Though it was just a game, but for a long time something in it bugged me. Draw me in, so I sat down in a net cafe and typed in the search bar, Blood God, Corn, here I am. Well,
actually,
well, that's a path.
For anyone interested in this, so I have 3 tattoos planned out, or 3 tattoo projects, I should say, planned out. For those of you who don't know, I'm a massive WoW fan, or at least I used to be. And my main was a Death Knight, and I can't remember if it was Legion. I don't think it was Legion. Yeah, it was Legion. You got class mounts. The class mount for the Death Knight is a big ass undead dragon, which is really cool. So that will be the first one, and what it's going to be is the head is going to start up here at my shoulder. It's going to go all the way down my back, wings coming out around my shoulder blades, and the tail is going to make it all the way down to my waist. The other 2 are going to be 3/4 sleeves, and at the top of each sleeve, I'm going to have the mark of Corn right here on this shoulder, and the mark of Nurgle here on this shoulder, and that's going to be what starts the sleeves. And they're going to kind of like drip down into it. The Corn one will be blood. The Nurgle one will be, well, use your fucking imagination.
Yeah, for tattoo plans, I only have a very basic one, and I don't want to waste money or time on that right now.
Oh no, this is not a right now thing. It's when I can do it, but it's one of those things that I want to get these done.
I wanna get a symbol of the Imperium on my arm, the Imperial Aquila. I also want the Black Templar cross on the top of my arm. Basically, I just want this whole arm like Imperium. This arm I'd probably do orcs.
Of course, Ludus's main was the Death Knight. What the fuck does that mean?
It makes sense. Just saying.
I love the Death Knight. They were awesome.
We're gonna we're gonna now start the section of the stream. It's not short. Oh, as short as I guess we want to make it. But we're gonna do the Q&A. We're gonna prioritize call-ins. So I'm gonna provide a link to the Discord in the chat. Just toss it in there. Feel free to join over in the Discord, and if you want to hop over into the VC called Call Line, we're going to pull one person in at a time into the call we're actually in right now, and you can ask up to 2 questions of your choosing, and they could be about Warglaive, they could be about 40k, they could be about us. Yeah, so... but you can also ask them in the chat. That's not against things. We'll pick and choose how it is, but I'm going to keep my eye on the cauldron lines.
What other class screams chaos other than Death Knight Warlock?
True.
You literally summon
Which
demons.
is probably a bad time to mention that's my main in WoW, as a Warlock.
That was my secondary.
That's my main. Destro Warlock all the way. It used to be Demonology, but I don't like Demonology.
Demonology, and then with the latest expansions, I went Affliction. No, Karnith Corn, Affliction locks were becoming the top They were top DPS for a while.
I know Destro Warlocks. Oh, we got 2 people on the line. Let me pull in. Let's see.
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Did you see who hopped in first?
I was not paying the least.
Yeah, I'll just go alphabetical then. Dragonus, I'll pull him in first. Hey, Dragonus, you're on the air. You're free to ask up to 2 questions of your choosing. They can be about whatever you want. So go ahead and shoot.
What is your favorite weapon in Warhammer 40k? And I mean, weapon of the Primarchs or any melee or combat weapon worn by any character?
And I've been pretty boring and consistent about this, because we've answered this question. We discussed this before, me and Ludus. I'm very boring. The classic, chainsaw sword.
I actually meant a legendary weapon.
Oh,
Yeah,
I have to choose a
classic one.
legendary. I can't remember the name of it. It's the legendary weapons. The names always escape me, but it's the spear that Russ uses.
The Spear of Prospero.
Yes, that's my favorite legendary weapon. Well, that's not the reason. I just think in all the artwork I've seen, it's depicted as so badass. And plus, I like spears.
He hates that thing.
I think it's great. I love that. So that's me. I'm pretty direct in that one. That's my favorite legendary weapon. But my favorite weapon overall is just the standard chainsaw sword. How can you beat that? It's so fucking great.
And mine is Libertas.
Iconic. Libertas?
Libertas.
That is wielded by
Nathaniel Garrow. It is a power sword.
Yeah.
It is a power sword that does shit that it should not do.
I will have to say mine is actually Vulcan's weapon, the big hammer Dawnbringer.
The big warhammer.
That looks so amazing.
You know, now that I think about it, yeah. I mean, I really do love Libertas, but the more I think about it, I'm thinking about Forge Breaker and Fire Sword now.
Moraine, don't tempt me.
So, and the second question is, which warship would you say is the best one, or which do you like the best?
I don't think I have one. This is definitely one I haven't thought about.
Which one do I like the best, or which one do I think is the most destructive?
Which one you like the best?
Probably Vengeful Spirit then. But as far as which
it was to be expected.
If this counts, I know it technically doesn't, because I don't know if it counts as a vessel as much as it is a large craft. The Phalanx.
No, it counts.
That is a vessel.
Sometimes
It's called a
described
warship.
as being like a space station that just happens to move.
It's that new level of battleship. It's called the Holy Shit class.
I love the Phalanx. I think
but like as far as like traditional warships, as far as most destructive, I would probably give to McCragg's Honor. Unfortunately, as much as I hate the fucking Smurfs, it's one of the last Gloriana class battle cruiser or battleships, and it is the biggest motherfucking thing that I believe the Imperium has right now. Or at least the Space Marines have. Oh, short of the Phalanx, of course. And like the Raptorus Rex.
Well, there's always the question where the Bucephalus is.
Yeah.
The Emperor's ship, which just disappeared.
Well, yeah, so like, if I'm not mistaken, as far as like traditional ships, I believe it is the largest traditional ship in the Imperium right now.
The biggest Gloriana class. Yeah.
And I believe it was actually the biggest out of all the Gloriana class battle cruisers that were made, which is really weird because I would have given that one to fucking Fulgrim.
They were of very different forms, so they were sometimes just long, and some others were just massive, huge.
That's the thing, though. If I'm not mistaken, between all the Gloriana class battle cruisers or battleships of the Primarchs, I believe McCragg's Honor was not only the longest but also the most massive. If I'm not mistaken.
I think it's the longest one, but not the massive one. But I'm not too sure on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm definitely going to have to.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me ask the questions.
Yeah, and thank you for asking them. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, bye.
Alright, bring in Nameless Scholar. Alright, Nameless Scholar, you're on the air. You can ask up to 2 questions of your choosing. It could be, like I said, about Warglaive. It can be about Warhammer or just about us. Go ahead and shoot.
Hello. So, first thing, is my mic too loud?
No,
you're fine.
Volume.
Okay. So, my first question is, I've been late to the stream. Could you do a short recap for me?
Of the whole stream?
Or do you just mean like the first half of the stream where we were talking about the artists and getting picked up by GW?
I feel like saying no, just because like a snooze you lose kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But
Shorthand, we both think that GW is going to fuck up pulling in all these artists.
well, no matter
Because-
what, it is a fuck up to a degree because they just destroyed
Well,
the best
that was not for me.
advertisement. All right.
Secondly, what is your favorite orc unit, Asmogon?
My favorite orc unit. Design wise or stats?
Or lore.
Design and lore.
Design and lore. Okay. I think it's not on the tabletop, as far as I know, the Great Gargant. It's just pure orc. Because it's this massive fucking mech. Just scrapped it. I love their mechs, but even the Stompa pales in comparison to this massive fucking hulk of metal. And there's nothing but a gigantic population of Gretchen and orcs on the inside just fucking, like, pulling a wire and somehow that causes a cannon to fucking go off. The Great Gargant is probably my favorite from the lore. Unfortunately, this doesn't have a tabletop equivalent. I've seen people make like their own custom ones out of scrap stuff, which is perfect. But as far as official models, there isn't one. So I'd say in terms of official models on the tabletop of design, it'd probably have to be the Death Dread.
My rain just tried trolling us, by the way.
Tried, but failed.
Thank you for answering my questions, and thank you for having me on.
Right.
Yes,
and
thank
you
you,
for asking your
Nicola.
questions. We love that. We love to have them.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
Alright.
at the end. It was just something I noticed that
All right.
it's kind of funny.
All right. So, and as always,
Apparently, Edna did nothing wrong.
Edna.
Edna. And then Carneth Corn follows that up with, who the hell is Edna?
Edna's great. Edna mode. Nah, if she got into 40k somehow, that'd be great. You imagine her working for the Imperium? That'd be fantastic.
Oh god, Chaplain Karn is in the call.
Alright, I'll pull him in. Alright, Kenneth Corn, Chaplain Karn, as you're here on the Discord, you are on the air. You can ask up to 2 questions about Warglaive, about 40k, or about us. Go ahead and shoot.
So, my dudes, what's your favorite type of squig?
Squig?
Yo, doesn't need to be on tabletop. Like, my favorite is the parrot squig.
I'm
Because
thinking.
he's...
I'm recalling all of them, so give me a second.
Because mine's a really simple answer, because I know dick all about him. I'm gonna say Bomb Squig, because I love the idea of the Bomb Squig.
Yeah, he's a pretty good top. He's so excited he runs up to the Imperial Guards, guys.
It's just so funny, because I know next to nothing, but I love Bomb Squigs are
But-
funny.
Apparently, a bunch of people had issues with them in the Space Marine game.
Oh yeah. Especially on higher difficulties, I could see it. Especially if you get like 3 or 4 of them at you at one time.
And
Because
yeah,
newbies want to melee them, not knowing what they are.
because they explode. There's so many, so I feel like I'm not thinking of one.
They are all like your sons. You cannot pick one out.
There's well, I love squigs as a whole. They're fucking hilarious.
Oh,
and
they are
amazing.
so good.
I love squigs. I'd say again, there's one I feel like I would say if I was recalling its name, but I'll say out of the ones I remember, it'd probably have to be the face biting squig, just because what it represents as like that game that orcs play, where if you lose you get your face fucking bit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
isn't it?
hilarious.
That makes me think of who would win, the face biting squig or the face biters from Aliens.
There's also a squig that just vomits out paint.
And
That's what. Yeah, the paint squig. That's an awesome one. Or the
Shit, that's
tooth
not
care.
surprising.
Or the tooth care squig. There's a fresh mouth freshener squig. That one is funny as well. So, the next question. What do you think about Edna? Did she really do nothing wrong?
Edna did nothing wrong.
Actually, it's
Yeah.
funny because
Edna is an awesome character. I
Yeah,
fucking
right.
love
Best
her.
sister of battle there is.
to show my sad knowledge of shit from years ago, because I haven't watched this show in literal years. Edna is teacher for Bart Simpson and Simpsons. I actually know
yeah.
that her name is Edna Krabappel.
Yep.
I'm for some reason I always remember her last name. I don't remember her first name. But I'm thinking of the Edna from the Incredibles.
I am almost positive that she meant Erda.
Oh no, that's what she meant. But I'm not letting.
100% Erla, but still.
That's totally what she meant. But that's not what was asked.
Yeah. She asks for Edna specifically, and I have to say, later on in The Simpsons, she got very nice. Too bad the voice actress died. And her character as well.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
So, that was it.
Right, thank you for your questions, Karn, and happy to have you on for further questions later if you'd like to. Well, next episode anyway. Got another person waiting though, so thank you so much for your questions.
Yep, later, dude.
Later. Alright, pulling Gavin in. Alright, Gavin, you're on the air. You can ask us up to 2 questions. Either it's about Warglaive, it's about 40k, or about us. Go ahead and shoot.
Alright, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Yeah.
Alright, it might be a little too early to ask this, but what tabletop unit that you're planning are you most excited about for Warglaive?
Ooh.
Ooh,
That is a good one.
It can be like design-wise or like what kind of how it would play.
I have a couple in mind that I want to say, but at the same time, I'm weighing in my mind if I should mention them at this point, as they're not designed yet. I would say that out of the units that I immediately have planned, I'm most interested in setting up the HQs for the basic HQs for each army. For the one out of those, what I'm most excited for is probably designing. It's probably designing the HQs for the Warborn. Because those are gonna be brutal to model, but those are gonna be fun as hell when they're done.
I know what race I'm looking forward to, and it's really fucking obvious.
The Rathan. Yeah.
The Rathan.
Yeah, those are gonna be a bitch to model, but they're gonna look good too.
Oh, they are, but I am looking so forward to them.
Yeah, but
the way you have described them is even though they aren't the same as Skaven.
Oh no.
No, I know that's where I was going with this. Even though they're not, and because I don't want people to think that just because I love Skaven because they're the fluffiest of creatures, that that's why I like the Wrath. And no, just like the way you describe them and the way their society works is fucking fascinating to me.
They are chaotic incarnate. But yeah, definitely the Warborn HQ unit, the basic version. It's not a hero unit like a named character, but their basic HQ unit. The veteran Huntmaster is the name. That's gonna be fun to design.
Cool.
All right, I got a second question for us.
I'll get back to you later. I can't think of it now.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for coming on and asking a question, and happy to have you on in the future.
All right, see you.
What am I looking at? Oh, okay. These so Carneth Gorn put the different squigs in Warhammer 40k topics.
Wait, what?
Yeah, and the first one is the face spider squig, and then there's the bagpipe squid.
Yes. There's so many images of all of them. It's great.
That is definitely special.
I love squigs. They're so awesome. I fucking love squigs. You cannot beat squigs.
You really can't. But that is so very special.
It is.
What the fuck is that one?
That is also a squig.
No shit, it's a squig. But what kind of squig is it?
If I'm not
Oil
that's
squig.
the oil squig. Like it spits out oil and then they light the oil on fire. Squig's the best. It's so great. Orcs in general are, but the squigs in particular. Like, I fucking love squigs. Oh, God. Alright, let's see. And is a teacher for Bart Simpson. Squigs are just too pure for 40k. Nah, they're pretty fucked up, but there's just something so hilariously funny about them that you just can't beat. Squig sharks, yeah. Bomb spiderlings. Will the squats live in Warglaive? I don't have squats, no. I was toying. There isn't a dwarf faction or dwarf-like faction. I toyed around with one, but I generally like to avoid fantasy tropes in sci-fi. Like, I think that was always like what annoyed me most about like for me, like having squats are great in 40k. Don't get me wrong, but like trying too closely to imitate like dwarves or fantasy tropes like elves. I something about that just never rubbed me the right way. Like, I don't like that in sci-fi as much. Like, I feel like if you derive things from fantasy for sci-fi, you inherently invite in to add even more fantastical things that become hard to explain. And in sci-fi, you should have some variant of explanation. Sci-fi, you should never have the excuse of, oh, it's just magic.
Yeah.
I think sci-fi should be the antithesis of that. So that's why I like to avoid working in too many fantasy things in sci-fi. That being said, dwarves are easy to explain. That's why
something.
So it's something that might come in a later edition. But as of right now in the lore, I do not have space dwarves or something like that. Also, thank you to the super chat. Medos. That was through Streamlabs.
Yeah.
The
syringe squig. What the absolute hell is this?
What?
Squig's wearing the syringe squig. I swear that when they came to Squig and Orc Design, they're like,
Alright, Magos,
here's a bunch of
thank you very much for the generous donation. Sorry to interrupt. Have you thought about setting up some kind of crowdfunding for Warglaive when it's further along in development? Yes, I actually mentioned that in the Q&A several times, and it's also in the FAQ on the website. I'm planning on setting up a Kickstarter. I still gotta write up, like, I'm trying to get the Kickstarter set up. But I don't know how long in the future I'll have to set that, because I want to have more things to like showcase in the Kickstarter to get people's interest, to be willing to support it up. So I gotta make sure I actually get in. That's why I'm like rushing along in the development of 3D, even though not every unit is really planned out or thought out yet. I'm already jumping into 3D designs for certain units that I know canonically will be on the tabletop and in the lore. It's just, I want to get more stuff done before I set up a Kickstarter. I really want to showcase what it is, you know, that really people... Because the thing is, you could say, oh, I want to make a Warglaive. I want to make a tabletop war game in a sci-fi grimdark universe. You can just say that, but if you have no showcase of what it is, people have no scope to the thing. Like, if you just say that, they're like, oh, you're just going to... You know, you're going to write up your own rules in a PDF, and then people can use their current existing... current existing 40k units or something like that to just play that game. It's like, no, to really explain, like to really showcase the full scope, like full blown manufacturing of miniatures that people can collect and assemble and paint, full collectible items like that, actual codexes that they can buy. Again, the rules are intended to be free online that you can just download as a PDF, and so will FAQ. So will any future updates to the rules. Like if there's like a patch thing I gotta do, like, oh, this thing in the rules is kind of fucked up, so here's an update, that'll also be free. The codex style thing, the archives as they're called, that I'm writing up for each of the factions, that'll showcase their brief, like a good chunk of their lore, and show the data sheets and all that for the players. that stuff is going to be optional to buy. Like, you don't need to get that to play the game, but if you want to, like, want all the extra bits in it and you want to have that book as, like, a collector item in and of itself, I'm also intending to manufacture those. But I don't want you to have to write that, have to buy those. That's the thing. I think the game rules should not be tucked behind a paywall. Like, ideally, I'd want people to just, yeah, I'm gonna sell the miniatures. The books are gonna the lore books, like the series and stuff. All that's gonna be sold, and I'm still not sure what the pricing scheme is. I want to the thing is, my goal is not to overprice the shit out of this. I want all I want is a fair price for you guys to purchase the stuff, and so I can have enough money to keep it going, to keep Warglaive going, possibly hire on more people, and pay them a decent wage. They don't need to be making millions of dollars a year, but pay them a fair, hopefully above average wage. And if I can do that, I will happily cut the pricing off there. I don't intend to nickel and dime people. Like, I think that's the biggest barrier of entry to 40K for a lot of people, especially the tabletop, is when they see the price. Like, 5 guardsmen is $10. You tell me these cannon fodder units that are shot off the table in seconds the moment the enemy's turn starts. You're telling me that I have to pay $2 for the little clip-on ones, essentially? No. That's $1 at best. That's $1 a unit, because they're like cannon fodder. So yeah, my goal is, I don't want to nickel and dime people. I just want to sell a fair price where I can keep the project going, sustain myself, and sustain any potential employees. If I can do that, I'll be all too happy to keep the pricing low for that, if I can. Plus, I'm also trying to do as much as I possibly can myself. I'm a 3D artist, so I already, designing the minis, that's all on me already. I got that. When it comes to the only thing I absolutely know I can't do justice is the concept art. That's why I hire Pyrrhus. Pyrrhus is an amazing artist. He's fantastic. And he also puts up with my terrible explanations. It's like, I want it to look like this. He's like, okay, can you send me like 30 references to properly lay out like what you just said? He puts up with my poor ability to describe sometimes the visuals he has to draw. But I really appreciate him, and he's great. But everything else, other than what he does, the amazing artwork he does, is all on me. I do all the 3D modeling, which will be the models that'll be printed off. I do all the marketing. I do all the advertisement. I designed even the logo for Warglaive. I run the business. I'm the CEO, CFO. I'm also in charge of manufacturing, of supply. Everything's on me, and it's going to be stressful. And I do want to hire more people on to help me with certain things, like, just because I'm going to burn out if it's just like, once full-blown manufacturing starts for Warglaive, I'm going to have like 7 or 8 printers going simultaneously. I'm going to have to wash and cure them for you guys, and then I'm going to package the bits and sell them off to make sure that they safely reach their destination. I have to properly move things around. Probably might have to get a warehouse. There's so much stuff. I'll just summarize. It's so much stuff, but for me, it's all worth it, because this is a passion project for me. This is something I really, really, truly love. And I cannot wait to see people engage in it and hopefully find a lot of love for Warglaive.
I think Gavin thought of a second question.
Oh, is he in? Yeah, sorry. I almost went on a rant. Alright, Gavin, you're on the air. Same rules as last time. Go shoot. Hello.
Yeah.
Do 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 da 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 da
Okay. Gavin has disconnected.
Okay. Wait, Ace just messaged me. Wait, do I have a... I didn't think I had a stream with him today.
I don't know.
Wait, I thought we caught up on the High Republic bullshit. No, there's more? God damn it. Alright. I never escape. It's eternal torture. Alright, one more question in the chat. Doesn't have to be a connect. Yeah, so one more question from you guys. Just shoot them out real quick, and one that catches my eye the most will answer, and then we'll call it a day. So, shoot out your questions, boy! You wonderful, amazing, sexy people.
And we wait.
A comment on Mark. Excuse me. A comment on Mark working on Death of Hope as I've been listening to the beginning. Are you asking for a comment on it, or? Okay, not sure what that is.
Of all the planets you have thought out in your grim dark, which would you want to live on, and which would you avoid like the plague? That's what Gavin Isaacs was going to ask.
There's not a lot of places I would want to live. I suppose if I had the choice, I'd probably live on. I'd probably live on Gallows 3. I won't spoil the story with Gallows, but before a certain event in the lore, it was a very nice place. It's Terran Republic territory, but I guess next to that, in the current paradigm of the lore, in the modern day of the lore, I'd probably say Terra. As shitty as it would be to live there. Because of the very strict military regime and curfew and all the other stuff that goes on in Terra. Yeah, not a lot of planets I would want. I would definitely want... the planet I would definitely wouldn't want to live on is probably... Well, I don't want to live on pretty much any other planet I could think of in the lore. I wouldn't want to live on Mordred. Period. I wouldn't want to live on... I wouldn't want to live on Chiton. I know to you guys none of this means anything, but I'm trying to think of like the planet I would not want to live on, like the last one I would settle on. Probably Dagal. I probably wouldn't want to live on Dagal. It's the homeworld of the Gretch.
We're leaving the dogs here.
Huh?
They and I are leaving. The dog is... I just brought her back from the groomer.
Alright, she okay, Sadie?
Huh?
Sadie okay?
Yeah.
So I know she...
I'm gonna go get paint and I'm gonna run into Walmart and pick up a couple things.
Alright.
So, I just wanted to let you know we were leaving. The dog was here. She went to the groomer, but I picked her up.
Alright. Juno!
Get a drink.
Damn it.
Here she comes.
Hey, girl. Hey. We're in the middle of finishing up this live stream, but...
Hmm?
I'm in the middle of finishing up a live stream.
Oh. Tell them I said hi.
They can hear you.
Hi! Alex live stream people. Okay. You want me to leave this open or shut it?
Shut. Well then. I suppose we'll call it that. All right, so thank you guys so much for thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. It was great to have you guys. Hope to have more news about Warglaive soon. Still a lot in the background that's going on. Concept art in particular is going to be a little slow. I don't want to rush Pyrrhus. He does such good work, and I don't want to rush him on any of it. So, thank you guys so much for joining. We'll catch you guys in the next episode next week on Thursday, where we'll probably have Greg back on, hopefully for longer.
Yep.
All right, have a good one, guys.
Hopefully. Bye, guys.